Good evening, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of Microsoft Workshop. This workshop is on cloud concepts and Microsoft Azure, and in this masterclass, you will learn from none other than Microsoft technical trainers Mr. Hitesh Popat, Mr. Ajay Lodha, and Mr. Amal Sharma. Yesterday, we had Mr. Hitesh Popat, who covered the theoretical part of cloud services, types of the services, followed by a small demo session on the Microsoft Azure portal. Today we'll get some more in-depth knowledge about cloud services and Microsoft Azure along with a hands-on session which will be taken by our very own Microsoft trainer Mr. Ajay Lodha, and Mr. Hitesh Popat and Mr. Amal Sharma will be active through the chat section. But before I hand it over to them, I would like to give you all a walkthrough of the Microsoft workshop. I'll just share my screen. Okay, so our Microsoft workshop is divided into 5 parts and or steps. The step 1 is to attend the 2 days masterclass of Microsoft workshop. Those who missed it yesterday, you can watch it on our Foundation YouTube channel. The link has already been shared with you all. After today's session, we'll have a very basic quiz to test your understanding on this topic. This link will be active till 17 June. So once you all are successfully done with the quiz, you can move to step 2. That is, update your LinkedIn skills and add Microsoft Azure to it. This details will should also be shared through a link, and this link will be shared with you all after the session. A reference video as to how to go about it will also be shared with you all. On successful completion of these 2 steps, you will get to participate in an online raffle and get a chance to win a Surface Go. And with this, you will also be eligible for step 3, that is, access to MS Learn course. This is a 10 hours course which you will have to complete, and on successful completion, you can take and clear the Azure Mock Test. Please note that you all can attempt the test only once, and the passing percentage for the same is 55%. So, yeah, answer carefully. The deadline for completing the course along with the test is 20th June 2021. And after you clear this mock test, you will be eligible to get the free Microsoft certification vouchers, which is worth 4,000. So exciting, right? But wait, that's not all. Along with this Surface Go, Along with the Surface Go, you get a chance to win many more prizes. Win 100 plus gadgets, which includes MIDI pods, OnePlus band, Zebronic speakers, lots of swags and vouchers throughout the skeleton period. So give this best shot, and yeah, we would love to see you win the swags and prizes. But to keep it fair and square, we would be having a leaderboard to track the best participants' progress. There are different grading systems for various tracks in the skeleton, but here I would like to explain you all the grading system for the Microsoft Workshop. So for this Microsoft Workshop, we have 300 points, and these 300 points are divided as follows. After attending the 2 day session, that is the masterclass, you will get 100 points. Updating the skill on LinkedIn will give you 50 points. Participating in the online raffle will give you 25 points. Completing the MS Learning course will help you score 100 points, and then appearing for mock test will give you 25 points. So with this you will win 300 points, and which can be redeemed later to win this amazing prizes, swags and vouchers. So take an advantage of this and give it your best shot. So right, with this I am done with the walkthrough, and I would like to hand it over to Ajay sir, who is all set to begin with today's masterclass. So yeah, over to you sir.
Hey, good evening, all of you, to this wonderful session which deals about Azure. We will talk about how to create virtual machines, how to create storage, and lot many other things. This session will be mostly demo based, so we will have lots and lots of demos so that you can see how it is actually done in real world. So, are you guys game for it? I hope so. Let us bring onto the table. Before I start, a quick intro about myself. I won't take much time. My name is Ajay Lodha. My friends, they call me AJ also. And you can see, I hope my screen is visible to all of you. And you can see this is Ajay. This is how I look like. A lot of my friends, they say, I look like a terrorist. But no, I'm a trainer. Believe me, I'm a trainer. And I have total 18 years of IT experience, 10 years of training experience, with a lot of technologies, a lot of domains. I have been wearing multiple hats with multiple technologies. And right now, for last 7 years, I have been working with cloud, multiple clouds. So that's it. That's about me. And I will not continue to scare you. So I will, stop the video so that we can concentrate only on the topics. So let me stop my camera and let us see what is in store for us for today's session. Okay, all right. So today, what we will do is we will do a quick recap, first of all, recap of what we had covered yesterday, and then we will start with today's topics. Okay, and as I mentioned, your takeaway from this session will be lots of learning. Believe me, you just stay focused, concentrate for 2 hours. I can guarantee you good amount of learning. Okay, so with that, let us do a quick recap of yesterday's topic, which was covered by Hitesh Popat. He is there in the chat today. In case you have any questions, feel free to post in the chat box. Hitesh will answer them. Hitesh, and we have Amal also, who will be answering the questions. So with that, let us go for a quick recap. So yesterday, if you remember, Hitesh covered the basics of cloud, right? The fundamentals of cloud computing. What is there in it for us? Why cloud? What is cloud? And all other things. So we talked about private cloud, public cloud, why cloud services, and many other things, right? We talked about what exactly is cloud computing. And then we talked about the key concepts. So if you look at the key concepts, see, when it comes to cloud computing, we say that these are the features of cloud computing, or you can say these are the advantages of cloud computing. Cloud gives you high availability, cloud gives you scalability, cloud gives you global reach, cloud is agile, fully agile. Cloud gives you disaster recovery, cloud gives you fault tolerance, cloud is elastic. So if you look at these are, core or key features, key advantages of cloud computing. So that reminds me of something. In an organization, during the monthly meetup, there was a diagram on the screen, something like this. There was something like this, and one person, he asked his colleague, "Hey, what happened? Is our sales figures going down again?" So the colleague said, "No, no, this is our manager's blood pressure level, which is going down ever since we went to cloud." So you see, this is also a very, very important advantage of cloud computing, right? In fact, for me, this is the most important advantage of cloud computing. Okay, so coming back to the features, these were discussed yesterday by Hitesh. I will just quickly walk you through the same slide. So he talked about economics of scale, which is one of the important features of cloud computing. He also discussed about capex versus opex, which are again super important when it comes to cloud computing. So if you know, in today's world, you will realize that there are many startups mushrooming up everywhere, right? It's a common phenomenon. You see so many startups. If you look back 5 to 6 years back, there were not so many startups. Now, why do you think there are so many startups coming up? It's because of cloud computing. What if I tell you that you can go to cloud, but you don't need to pay anything? There is no capital expenditure at the beginning. You would love to start your own business if you don't need a lot of capital expenditure. And that is exactly what happened with cloud computing. So when it comes to cloud, there is no or very less capital expenditure at the beginning. Hitesh already discussed all of these. We talked about consumption based models. We talked about types of cloud models. What are the different types of cloud computing, which includes your public cloud. Then we have private cloud. We have hybrid cloud. And then we compare those clouds with each other. And then we discussed about types of cloud services or cloud models, you can say. So we have IaaS, we have PaaS, we have SaaS. Just give me a second. So we have IaaS, we have PaaS, and we have SaaS. Now today, what we will do is we will have some demos. I will show you how you can start a website within few minutes using a IaaS model. And then I will also show you how you can start a PaaS model, a PaaS website without worrying, without bothering about the platform, about the infrastructure. How cool is that? So just wait for a few more minutes and we will start the demos. Okay. Then we talked about what exactly is IaaS, what's the difference between IaaS and PaaS, and what is SaaS. That also was discussed yesterday. Now today we will, and how you can celebrate your achievement, that was also discussed. Now let's talk about today's topic. So today we will concentrate on creation of virtual machine, and as I mentioned, mostly we will be having demos. Okay, all hands on today. So we will talk about virtual machine, how to create, how to plan for a virtual machine, Windows virtual machine, Linux virtual machine, and we will also see how you can, within minutes, you can start your own website inside your virtual machine. And then we will talk a little about Azure storage, because storage plays a very important role when it comes to cloud computing. Okay, so with that, let us start with Azure virtual machine. Now, before I talk about virtual machine, let me tell you why a need to have virtual machine came into being. See, before virtual machine, there used to be a time when we used to have only physical servers. We used to have data centers, and within a data center, you will have big physical servers inside what we call racks. So if I want to show you, if I go to Google and if I search for Azure data center, let's see what comes. My laptop is little slow, so please bear with me. So if you look at these images, see, these are data centers. It's a completely different world altogether. I had been to many data centers. I had been to data centers hosting 5,000 servers for one of my previous organization. And you can see this is how it looks like. Now, a data center will be full of servers. So if I want to show you what are the servers, see, these are your servers. Do you see? So once upon a time, we were using only physical servers inside our data centers. So you go inside a data center and you will find there are thousands of servers hosted. See, this is an example of a physical server. Now, inside the server, what we host? We create our own applications. We create databases, right? That's why we need servers. We want to host our websites. We want to run our application. You want to play some game or you want to host some game. You need a server. So what was happening once upon a time? We were having multiple servers inside the data center. So if I draw a server here, let's say this is a physical server. This is a physical server. So what was happening? The server will have lots of RAM, lots of CPU, and lots of hard disk, along with a lot of I/O devices. Now the problem was, let's say you are having 8 CPUs and you are having maybe multiple, multiple hard disk, 8 CPU, and maybe 128 GB of RAM, and a lot of other I/O devices. Now, when you are hosting your own application inside the server, the application actually is consuming only one virtual CPU, one physical CPU, and it may be using only few GB of RAM, let's say 4 to 8 GB of RAM. The remaining CPU's RAM was a wastage once upon a time. So to utilize the server in a proper manner, to have proper utilization, they came out with the concept of virtualization. Now, virtualization was a game changer. It revolutionized the entire IT world. What happened using virtualization? We will have a hypervisor. You need to have a hypervisor. In case of Azure, we use Hyper-V. It's a software you have to install, or it may be inbuilt inside your operating system. Now, when you have the hypervisor, many of you may be aware of VMware ESXi, or VMware Workstation, what we install inside our own desktop. Now, once you have the hypervisor, we can create multiple virtual machines inside our physical server. And these virtual machines are called VMs. VMs. Now, when we talk about cloud computing, why I'm discussing this with all of you? Because, see, when we talk about cloud computing, cloud is all about the virtual machines. That is what construct your IaaS infrastructure. When it comes to IaaS, this is what we install. We install virtual machines. These are called VMs. So inside a physical server, we can have multiple virtual machines created. So remember, on cloud, whenever we create a server, that server is actually a virtual machine running inside the physical server. And inside one physical server, we can have multiple virtual machines. And the beauty of these virtual machines is such that we can have a Linux virtual machine. At the same time, we can run a Windows virtual machine inside the same physical server. But when you create a VM on cloud, you don't know in which physical server your virtual machine is hosted. So when I create my own virtual machine, and let's say Hitesh or Amal is creating another one, they may reside in the same server or they may go to different servers. That's how it works. Okay. So this is the concept of virtual machine. Now Azure supports only two type of virtual machines. Azure supports only Linux and Windows virtual machine. There is no support for any other type of operating system. So AIX, Solaris, other operating systems are not supported. Please do remember that. Okay, so with that, let us go back to the slide. I hope this makes complete sense to all of you. What is a virtual machine? And as I said, we will be launching virtual machine and we will also be launching websites inside the virtual machine. So let me go back to the slide. So creating a virtual machine, when we create a virtual machine, see, there are certain prerequisites, there are certain concepts you have to understand. But for you, this is just an introduction. Until and unless you join a course like AZ 104, you will not be learning in depth. In this particular session, we are just having overview with demos. So when we create a virtual machine, generally we start with a network. The first thing what we do is we create a network first, and then when you create virtual machine, you have to specify a name for the virtual machine, you have to choose a location for the virtual machine, and you have to consider the pricing as well. Pricing plays a vital role when it comes to selecting your virtual machine and what type of virtual machine you want to run on Azure, on cloud. So you know what? Instead of discussing the theory, let us go to cloud and let us see how to deploy a virtual machine. We will deploy a Windows virtual machine, we'll deploy a Linux virtual machine, and we will talk about them. Right? So with that, let me go to cloud. So there used to be a time when people used to say that cloud computing is fine, but what if there is rain? What if it's raining? What if there are thunderstorms? Yeah, so those are cloud humors. Um, so now companies have realized that thunderstorm will not affect cloud computing. So if I go back to the portal, give it few seconds. Okay, so you can see this is my Azure portal. Yesterday, Hitesh showed you how you can create a free tier account on Azure. You will get $200, and how you can utilize and you can practice using that amount on Azure. So all of you can open a free account, and you get $200 for 1 full month. So I am here in my Azure portal. Now if you go to this left hand side, do you see this menu option? Menu. So this is where we get all the services. So if you click on all services, this option, it will take you to all services. Give it few seconds. The laptop is super slow. There is traffic everywhere these days. Okay, so you see here, when I go to all services, you have what we call categories. categories. So you will see general, compute, networking, storage, web, mobile, containers, databases, analytics, right? So if you go to compute, you click on compute, you will find all compute related services inside. So as you can see here, we have total 26 services inside compute. Now, when it comes to cloud computing, initially you do not need to learn each and every service, that is not required. But there are certain backbone services, there are certain important services which you have to learn, like virtual machine, or you can say that this is part of your compute, right? Virtual machine. Now this is one of the backbones of Azure. In fact, virtual machines are backbone of most of the clouds, right? And this is how we deploy our IAS models, virtual machine. So you click here and it will take you to the creation page. Now if you can see, I am already running a couple of virtual machines which are in running state, and this one is in stop state. Do you see? Now if I go to this menu option once again, you will find there's a virtual machine option here as well, because it is marked inside my favorites. So I can open it from here as well, or you can search it from here. You can just go there and search for virtual machine. Yeah, virtual machine. Now let me show you how easy it is to create a virtual machine. See, uh, one of the reasons of cloud becoming so popular is the ease of use. Cloud computing is so easy that even a child can learn it. You won't believe, I'm not exaggerating. My 7-year-old son, he used to launch virtual machines. He launched, I think, some 10, 20 virtual machines so far. Because when I was teaching, he was so interested. He used to nag me, Papa, please teach me how to launch a VM. So I started teaching him and he was able to do it. It is so easy and simple. So with that, let us see how we can create a virtual machine. Yeah. So guys, are you ready? So to create a virtual machine, you have to go to this add option. Do you see the add option? Just click on virtual machine. Virtual machines, lean, mean, deadly machines, as they say. Okay, so that will give you this page, create a virtual machine. Now see, in actual world, when we create a virtual machine for production, things are little different. Before we create a virtual machine, we need to deploy a network. Yeah, we will have a plan in place, that what all servers are required, what all applications we are planning to run. Depending on that, what are the databases we are planning to run, we will have number of virtual machines running, right? We will have the plan in place. But we are in a lab environment, we are in a demo environment. So here those things doesn't matter to us. We will just focus on how easily and how quickly we can create a virtual machine. So when you create a virtual machine, you see here, it will ask for some basics. It will ask for disk information, it will ask for networking, it will ask for management, advanced, and there are a couple of other things. So let us see one by one how to deal with them. So the very first thing, if you remember, yesterday Hitesh was talking about subscription. Subscription is like your Netflix subscription, or some type of subscription which you have to purchase from the vendor. So in this case, it is Azure from whom you have to purchase a particular subscription. Now, in my case, I have already purchased the subscription, MSDN and Visual Studio. Being Microsoft employees, we get the subscription free. If you go for your free tier account, which you are eligible to get $200 in that account, you will find a subscription, a default subscription. So first thing is we have to select at least one subscription. Now, inside a particular subscription, we can have multiple resource groups. It's like right now, if you go for a Geo subscription, Geo broadband connection, you can think of that as your subscription. Now, when you apply for Geo subscription, you get Netflix, you get Amazon Prime, you get Disney, Hotstar, all are free, right? So you can think of them as different resource groups. So in real world, see, inside a company, inside a project, we will have multiple teams working together. Let's say there's a team for development, there's a team for test, there's a team for production. So you have a development team, you have a test team, you have a production team. So how do you segregate their resource requirement? So there are multiple ways to do it. Number one, we can do it through what you call different subscriptions, or we can do it through different resource groups. So you have to create at least one resource group. You can go here and you can just click on, just give it a name. So I will say my RG. So it says that this my RG is already existing. So what I'll do is I'll cancel it. Just a second, guys. And then I will go and select one from here. So I will select my RG as the resource group. But if you can see, I have multiple resource groups. You can think of them as collection of resources. Okay, we can have collection of resources inside a resource group. So I have already created my RG. Give me a few seconds, guys. I'm not able to close the setting option. It started on its own. It's demanding attention. Yeah, now it's closed. So once you select the resource group, you have to select a virtual machine name. See here. So what I will do is I will give it a name, Windows VM. How innovative, na? How unique. But that's what I can think of right now. Let me know if you have anything um, interesting. I can use that name. Now, if you see all these red stars, do you see here this red star mark? That means these are mandatory fields. You have to select those options. So the next one in our list is region. Remember, yesterday we were having lots of discussion about regions. Now, what exactly is a region? Remember the data center I was showing you? So Azure has created, we at Microsoft, we have created the largest number of regions in the world. No other cloud provider has so many regions. We have 60 regions, guys, all over the world. across the globe. So those regions are your data centers. Now regions will be divided into zones, but not all the regions are divided or having zones. Let me show you what I mean by this. So if I go to East US, see these are the regions. Do you see? East US, East US 2, Central US, and we have 3 in India. We have 3 regions in India. Now, if I go to East US and if I go to this availability option, you will find there's a zone option. Zone. Do you see? Zone. Now, if I select this zone, you will see 1, 2, 3. There are 3 zones in this particular region. Now, what does it mean? It means that in this particular region, which is a geographical location, Azure Azure actually created 3 data centers which are located within same location, which is East US, but they are having some distance. There are some distance between the zones. Let me explain it here a little quickly, because this is something important and you need to understand this concept. So what I mean by this is, let's say this is our East US region, right? This is our East US region. Now, in this particular region, Azure created 3 separate data centers. Okay. Now, these are data centers. Remember, I showed you the photo image of a data center. And after creating the data centers, Azure connected them using its own fiber optic channels, or you can say using its own backbone network. So that means this zone 1, zone 2, and zone 3 are all connected with each other. Now you might be thinking, what's the advantage? Why do we need this? See, if you distribute your workloads, let's say I'm creating a virtual machine here, and if I create a virtual machine here and another one here, so I'm distributing my workload into 3 different data centers. So there are distance, there is a distance among the data centers. So what if one data center goes for a toss? Let's say something happens, there's a natural calamity, something happened, and this data center stopped working. It has happened in real world. In that case, you will still continue to have your other workload, other infrastructure up and running from other data centers. That's the advantage. That's why we need zones, and we need to also distribute our workloads into multiple zones. Now, the interesting thing is, not all regions will have zones. Like if you see East US, it has 3 zones, right? But if I go to, let's say, one of the Indian regions, South India. Right now, I'm in Bangalore. So we have a region in Chennai. But if you see here, in this particular region, there is no availability zone. That means this region consists of only one data center, which is the region itself. Now, this is a key point. You need to understand this concept. And I have seen people get confused with this. That's the reason I'm explaining it. So now I believe it is crystal clear to all of you. So in case If the zones are not available, how do we bring availability? We go for what you call availability set, which consists of fault domains and update domains, which unfortunately we won't be able to cover in this course because we don't have time. Okay, all right. So let us continue with East US. Also remember, this is Microsoft biggest region, East US. So I can go for availability zone and I can select the first zone. Now let me show you the magic. So once you select these options, let's say I want to install a Windows server or a Linux VM. Remember, these are all virtual machines. These are not physically present. Also remember that only two operating systems are supported, Windows and Linux. I'm repeating again. So how do we install the operating system in a virtual machine on Azure, on cloud? The answer is, and this you have to understand again, that we do not install anything on cloud. We do not install the operating system. No, we don't do that. What we do is we use images. You can think of images as your templates, or you can think of them as hard disks. A hard disk which is already having operating system along with the application and all other things which are required for you to use. So let's say, for example, I go to this images option. Do you see here images? So this will bring you to a place called marketplace. This is where you can do shopping. Yeah, that's what is a marketplace. But you can shop for only images, only operating system images. Now let's say I want to install MySQL. MySQL. I want to run MySQL. So if you look at this, see, this is a MySQL running on a virtual machine. And if you read, it will also tell you what is the operating system wherein this image is hosted. So you see, this is MySQL in CentOS 7.7. That means if I select this option, I will get a CentOS or CentOS, what we call CentOS operating system with MySQL pre-installed. Yeah, and how cool is that? So remember this, we do not actually install the operating system on cloud. We just go and select the images which are already existing, pre-existing, pre-baked. We call them pre-baked. So if I search for Linux, you will find there are so many Linux versions. Okay, I told you that only Windows and Linux are supported, but most of the Linux flavors are supported. That includes your Kali Linux, your SUSE, Red Hat, Debian, Ubuntu. Yeah, all these are supported. Similarly, if I search for Windows, you will find Windows is also there. See, Windows Server. Yeah, Windows Server 2016 Core and a lot of other Windows servers options are there. So I'm deselecting this. I'm just coming out from the marketplace. And if I click here, you will see there are some frequently used images already listed because I have been using this portal for many years. So you see here, I have so many default ones already listed. One of them is your Windows 2019 data center, which is the latest version. So let me select that. So what I just did is I selected a pre-created image which is like a hard disk, which will have the operating system 2019 pre-installed. So We will just attach it to the virtual machine, and the machine will be created in 2-3 minutes. Now, once you select the image, the next task is to select the size. What is the size we are looking for? So remember that virtual machine we talked about? That virtual machine takes its resources from the physical server. But you have the option here to select the size. That means, depending on my use case, let's say I want to run SAP HANA, or I want to run a very high-end game server. I want to run an e-commerce website. Do you think one virtual CPU, 1 GB of RAM will be enough for that? No, right? We need more. So you have the option to select your own size. So click here. It will take you to select a virtual machine size option. Now, see, there are a lot of things here inside, but right now you don't need to understand them. It is not required. Just understand that there are different names, yeah, and we have something called family. I mean, we all have families, right? Similarly, your virtual machines seems like also have their own families, and they belong to families. So if I go and select this family type, you will see general purpose, GPU, high performance compute, compute optimized, memory optimized, you have storage optimized, and all other options. So to cut the long story short, depending on my requirement, I will select a particular size. So what do you mean by size? The number of virtual CPUs. Do you see here virtual CPU, this option, this one, and virtual memory? It's called virtual memory because it is getting allocated from the physical server. So this part you can select. That means if you see here, virtual CPU is 1, this is 2, right? But what if I need more? So if you scroll down, further down, you will find there are many types of sizes available. Now, if you look at this one, this gives you 32 virtual CPUs and 128 GB of RAM, which is like huge, right? Which is like wow. So I can run a heavy duty website, e-commerce website using this virtual machine, and this also gives you total 32 data disks. Okay, so that is what it is. Remember, we can select different sizes, but let me also tell you, because you guys are new, you are just learning, you have started your cloud journey, and you have only $200. um, I'm not talking about your bank account, guys. I'm talking about your Azure account. In Azure, when you open a free tier account, you get $200. So you have to save that amount so that you can practice for the whole month. So for that, I would suggest whenever you are trying to launch a VM or a virtual machine, stick to B1S. B1S is enough for Linux machines. Okay. In fact, what I have seen is this is enough for Windows also for practice purpose, but Windows will be little slow. Okay. Windows will be slow. So for Windows, I suggest you go to B series and you will see there's a 4 GB RAM, B2S. I suggest this one. You select this one, B2S. So let me select this, B2S, and that's it. Now you have to assign a username. So I'll use admin123, and then you need to have a 12-digit password. Now I generally use a password which I share with with the whole world, so that I'm not forgetting it. So the password I use is called I won't tell you. I won't tell you is my password. If you do not believe me, you can try it out. I will share the virtual machine's IP address with all of you. So it's like, your friend came to your house and he is asking, hey, give me your Wi-Fi password. And you are saying no password. So your friend said, no, no, give me the password now. And you were saying no password. And your friend got angry. So you don't want to give me the password. And then you are saying, no, no, the password is no password. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. So you assign a password, and then see this one. The next option is what is called a firewall. This is a firewall. So I can allow and I can select or deselect ports, network ports. So I'm allowing RDP, and let me select HTTP also. So right now, just remember that this is a firewall through which you can allow or deny ports. Yeah. Then you can bring your own license. If you are running on premises, click on next disk. So this will ask you to select some disk options. Now we can have SSD disk or we can have HDD disk. So you have premium, standard, two type of disks. There is the ultra disk also, but ultra disk is also SSD, which is your solid state disk. So when you are practicing to create virtual machine, don't worry about these options, just select the default one. But let me also show you that you can add additional disks. Just by clicking on that option, you can have additional disk attached to your virtual machine. That is possible. See, in this case, I'm adding additional 1 terabyte of disk, which is like huge. So let me reduce the disk size. Instead of 1 terabyte, I'll just go for a 4 GB of additional disk. Click on OK, and that's it. The next option is your networking. Now, again, for this particular session, we won't be able to talk about networking much. It is not possible. In the interest of time, we have to continue. But when you click on the networking option, you will see you can create a new network, or you can create, or you can select an existing network. Yeah, you can select one existing network. If you do not create a new network, Azure will create one for you. So all you need to do is just go along with the basics, with the defaults. Do not make any changes. Okay, just continue to the management section. Now management also, there are a couple of options here. You can have some logs, like if you want to capture boot diagnostics, if you want to capture operating system guest level diagnostics, you can select those options, or else just go ahead with the default. Don't do anything here, just click on advanced. In advanced also there are certain options. Yeah, uh, don't uh, uh, don't 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 select anything, just let them be default. Click on review and create. Now you can define some tags also. Tags are nothing but name value pair. I'm not defining anything. I'll just click on review and create. So this will create a VM running Windows 2019 inside. So you see here, this will take around 3 rupees per hour. Yeah, depending on the size of the VM, it will cost us this much amount. So click on create. The validation is passed. So give it a few seconds, few minutes, not seconds. You can just count the minutes, and you will see the virtual machine will be created. So if you see here, the deployment is in progress. Give it a few minutes. So friends, this is how we create a Windows virtual machine inside Azure portal. Let it get deployed, and we will see how to log into this virtual machine, and few other things. And then we will deploy a Linux virtual machine, and we will see how to access that particular virtual machine. Then we will deploy websites also inside the virtual machine. We'll have websites created. Yeah, so you can actually surprise your parents, your families, by creating this type of websites. And you can access them from any platform, from mobile, from laptop. Yeah, you can even have a birthday surprise coming from a website, um, so that is also possible. So now you see, guys, it's only, I believe, 2 minutes, and the VM is created. See, the deployment is complete. So if I go to the virtual machine option again, Windows VM, do you see? This is the one in running state. Now click here, and you will find, see, you will find this is my virtual machine, and there are many settings, there are many options which you can change. Now you can see, this is the location, this is the public IP, this is the size, this is the operating system, right? All other options are there, right? You can see. Now if you want, you can change also. You can resize the virtual machine, you can add additional disks and many other things, which we will cover in a while. But first, let us see how we can access the virtual machine. The virtual machine is running on cloud, right? But what if I want to access it from my own laptop? Then how do we do that? So for a Windows virtual machine, you have to go to the connect option, and you have to select RDP. RDP stands for Remote Desktop Protocol. Remote Desktop Protocol is the one you have to select. When you select that, it will ask you to download the RDP file. So you click here. See, this has downloaded this particular file. So I can go to the location, and you can see this is the file. So I'll just click on this file. And this will start the RDP session. It's taking little time. Just give it a few more seconds. And you can see this is how it looks like. Now click on the connect option. And see, it is now asking for the username and password. Remember the username? I gave admin123, and the password you all know. What's the password? I won't tell you is my password, right? So click on OK, and you are able to log into the virtual machine. So Congratulations to all of you guys. You have successfully created your first virtual machine on the cloud and you are able to access it also, right? How cool is that? Now, do you realize what I just did? The virtual machine is actually running on the cloud, but I am accessing that from my own laptop. I'm using my laptop to access that particular virtual machine. I hope it's all clear to all of you. I'm not able to see the chat, but I know Hitesh and Amal are there to answer all your queries and questions and doubts. So if you have any, feel free to post. Now see, this virtual machine is running. But remember, as I mentioned multiple times, this is a virtual machine. On cloud, you don't get physical machine. Though there is an option to get that as well. If you want, physical machines can also be reserved for you. Now you see here, this is my virtual machine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start a web server here. So I'll go to add roles and features section, click on next, click on next, one more next, and you will see there's a web server option. Do you see IIS? IIS? IIS is your Windows web server, Windows Internet Services. Click on add features, click on next. It's little slow for me. Click on next and let them be default. Don't do anything here. Um, just click on next and click on install. Let it get installed. It won't take much time. So this is how we install the web server feature inside the server itself. After this, we will see how to access the website. It's taking a little more time. Just bear with me. Okay, give it a few more seconds, and you can see this installation is succeeded. So let me close this window and let me go to local server option. There's a IE enhanced security configuration. I will make it off. Let me click on OK. And let me start Windows Explorer. Not Windows Explorer, it is Internet Explorer. Now, once this is done, let us see if the website is up and running or not. Because when you install the web server feature, which is your IAS, it will install a default page for you. So if I type here localhost, see, this is the web page. Do you see? It's coming up here. So this is my web page. Now this is coming from within the server using the local host. What if I want to browse it from my mobile? How about browsing it from internet, from outside? So for that, I will minimize this RDP session. Just a second. So this is my RDP session, which is minimized right now. Now let me go back to the cloud once again. Let me go back to the portal and let me go to the virtual machine overview. Let me select the IP address. Do you see this is the IP address? Now let me copy that and let me paste it here in a tab, in a newly opened tab inside your Microsoft Internet Edge. So guys, switch to Edge if you have not done already. Edge is the best browser right now. The fastest browser in the market. So you see here, I just pasted this. Now let me hit the enter button. But before I do that, let me tell you a very important thing which I have learned from the field. When I was working on the field, as a system admin, as cloud architect, what I have seen is many a times, when you configure something important and you try to test it, it's not working. Like in production, we will do patching, production patching, server patching, and after that you reboot the server, it's not coming up. So there is one very important thing we do in real world, and this is what I call trade secret, which I'm sharing with all of you. So what you need to do is, before you hit the final button, is you need to pray. Yeah, that's the most important step. You need to pray so that it works. Remember that, guys. Okay, so I shared the trade secret with all of you today. So with prayers, let me hit the button. So you can see the website is coming, the web page is coming. Now if you want to try it from your own mobile, please go ahead and type this IP address in your mobile, open a browser and open a tab and type this browser, type this IP address. You will see a website coming up for you. Do let us know if you are able to open it in the chat window, though I'm not able to see that right now. Okay, cool, guys. So this is how we create a Windows server and we host a website. We create a website. Now, let me also tell you, just now what we did is we launched a website using the IaaS model. So now if I want to explain it to you, what we did is this. We created a virtual machine, yeah, which is running inside a physical server. We create a virtual machine, VM, which is running inside a physical server, and we created one website inside. Now, what is this? This is what is your IaaS model, guys. Infrastructure as service. Now, in this case, you are responsible to manage the virtual machine. You are responsible to manage the website running inside the virtual machine. It's your responsibility. That's why it is called IaaS, Infrastructure as Service. I hope it's now crystal clear to all of you. Yeah. Okay, so let us move forward. Let us deploy a Linux virtual machine. Let's see how that works. So if I go back to the portal one more time, and I will go to the same location, menu option. I will go to virtual machine. I'll click on the add option. I'll click on virtual machine. But this time, instead of Windows virtual machine, we will select a Linux one. So I'm selecting the same resource group, my RG, because I'm little self-obsessed. So my VM, my RG. You know what? Let us create our RG. We are a team, right? So, oh, our RG is already existing. So let me select that. So I'll select our RG. Now this virtual machine, uh, so I'll give it my VM, my Linux VM, my Linux. Oh no, sorry. I will give it our Linux VM. Yeah, no more my guys. Now East US. Now this one, see, I can deploy inside zone 2. The first one got deployed in zone 1. This one I can deploy in zone 2. It's possible. That's how we distribute the workload among the zones or the data centers. Now, instead of Windows, I will select Ubuntu here. So this is Ubuntu 18. And for this one, 1 GB of RAM will be enough for me. 1 GB. But I have a little more money in my account. I'm talking about Azure account, not about my bank account. Um, so I can actually go for 4 GB of RAM and 2 virtual CPUs. Now, one difference between Windows and Linux virtual machine deployment is that in case of Windows, you get only password option. But for Linux, remember, you get two options to access the virtual machine. You have what you call a public key option, or it's a key pair basically, or else you can go for a password option. Now, this public key option we discussed in detail in other courses. Right now, it won't be possible for me. So let us stick to password option. And let me go ahead with the username. Password, you already know what is my password. I have made it known to the whole world what is my password. Yay. And let me select ports here. So for Linux machine, remember the way we access it is through SSH. We do not use RDP to access Linux systems. This is something very important for you. Okay, and you may be getting this in your exam question also, in AZ 900 and in other exams as well. So I'm allowing SSH along with HTTP port 80. Now let me click on disk option. Let it be default as it is. I'm not making any changes here. Networking, let it be default. I'm not making any changes. Click on. So, okay, just want to show you something here. Remember, I was telling you that if you do not create a network, it will, Azure will create it for you automatically. Now, do you see, this is exactly what is happening here. It is creating our RG VNet. VNet stands for virtual network, okay, which will be created for you. How cool is that? So even if you do not know, it will be created for you. There will be a subnet created, there will be a public IP address created for you. But if we want, we can define them beforehand as well. Right now, let it be default. Just click on management, advanced, don't select anything. Let it be all default. Just click on review and create. So this will go for a validation. Now click on create and you are all done. Give it few minutes. I would say 2 minutes, and you will see this will be created. So guys, this is how we deploy a Linux virtual machine. And you can see how easy and how simple it is to create VMs on cloud, on Azure. Yeah. So let it get deployed. Meanwhile, if you have questions, post them in the chat box. Hitesh and Amal will answer. So we'll wait for this particular virtual machine to be created. And after this, we are going to deploy another website inside the virtual machine. So you can see here, it is actually creating multiple resources inside. When you create a virtual machine, it is creating what you call an NSG, network security group, which is nothing but a firewall. It is creating a VNet. It is creating a public IP address. It will create some disk and some other components. Okay, and all these will go inside the same resource group. Remember the resource group we talked about? So if I go to another tab, just to show you, while this is cooking, let it get cooked and we'll come back. So if I go to another tab, so the deployment is in progress. So I'm in another tab. Now if I go to the menu option and if I go to the resource group section, and if I search for our RG, see all the resources are getting created inside this resource group. Do you see here? See, this is how it looks like. Okay, and this is what is my amount pending. So in this subscription, I have around 10,000. Now let us go back here. So you can see this deployment is still in progress because it is taking more time, because we are creating a new network also, so that the virtual machine can be deployed inside the network. Had the network been already created, it wouldn't have taken this much of time. So let's give it few more seconds, doesn't matter. But if I go to the VM section again, by now you will see that virtual machine is actually there. Our Linux VM, see, and it says it is getting created. Do you see? It's getting created. Yeah, cool. Give it few more seconds. Okay, let it get created. Meanwhile, let us talk about how do we access the Linux system. Just like RDP, to access the Linux servers, you have to download a tool called PuTTY. So if you go and search for PuTTY download. So we in India we call it PuTTY, but I have seen outside people they call it Putty. But whatever it is, be careful with the pronunciation. Otherwise, it may mean something completely different, right? So you have to go and search for PuTTY and you have to download it. This is a free software you can download from many places. Just download it and install it. Now you can see here, I have already downloaded and I have already installed it. Just give me a second. This is my temporary laptop because my primary laptop stopped working. So that's the reason it's little slow. So this is how putty looks like. Now you open this putty, P-U-T-T-Y, putty. It's a small little but very handy, useful tool. Now when you open this after installation, installation is super simple. Just click on next, next. It will be installed. And once installed, see it is asking for a host name. Do you see? Host name or IP address. Now let us go back to cloud. Let us go back to the creation. Let's see if it is already created or not. I'm sure by now it is done. See here, this is done. So now if I go to the virtual machine, our Linux VM is in running state. Do you see it is in running state? Now click here, our Linux VM, and it will give you an IP address. This is a public IP address. Okay, now copy this. Come to putty and paste it here. Paste it here and click on open. Once you click on the open, see it is asking for a confirmation. Select accept, accept it, and it is asking me to provide the username and password. Just give me a second. Let me increase the font size. Okay, now let me log in. Admin 123, password you already know, the same password. Press enter, and I'm logged in. Do you see? I'm logged in. So congratulations, guys. One more time. We have successfully created a Linux virtual machine running on cloud, and we are able to log into it using our own laptop. So we are accessing a server which is remotely hosted, running on cloud. Okay. Now, see this one, when I logged in, I'm actually logged in as admin. So to become root, you have to type the command sudo su. Sudo su. So root is the administrator of your Linux world, right? What do we call administrator in Windows is called root in Linux. Now once I'm becoming root, I can do whatever I want. So in Unix world, there's a humor when we used to work in the field. So they say that what is the magical word to become superpower, to become Superman? What is the magical word to become Superman? So now you know what is that magical word. It's called sudo. Yeah. So sudo will give you root access. So now once I'm root, let me install a web server in this system. In a Linux server, let us install a web server. So how do you do that? Because it's an Ubuntu server, the command is apt get install or apt install. and we will install an Nginx server, Nginx. Yeah, but before that, let me show you quickly something. If I take this public IP and if I go to one of the portals and if I paste it here, do you see anything coming? No, nothing is coming. No page, because no website is running there. So that's what we are doing right now. We are going to install a website, a web page. So I'll just do an Nginx installation. So this is the command. We will share the command with you. It's called apt get install Nginx, and you can see Nginx is getting installed. Give it few seconds. Shouldn't take much time. Okay, all right. You can see, guys, this got installed. Now, how do we know it got installed or not? So let us go back. And now you see, this is the IP address and the website is coming. Welcome to Nginx. A beautiful looking website, right? Cute. You can say cute looking website. So if I copy this IP address again, and if I go to another, so guys, if you want to try it, please go to your mobile or laptop and try it. This is the IP address 20.84.100.39. So see, this is the default web page which is coming. This is default. If I want to make changes to this web page and you want to bring your own website, how do we do that? So let me go to this server once again. So remember, this is what is your IS model. I'm able to log into the server. See, I'm able to SSH, I'm able to RDP, and then I'm able to make changes. So to make changes to this default website, we have to go to this location called var www.html. And if you see here, this is the file index.nginx.debian.html. So let me do something here. Let me make some changes. Let me make it my own website. So how do I do that? Let me type something. I can actually nullify the entire web page. Now I can open the web page. So you see it is now empty because I have deleted everything, every content from the file. Now I'm writing here. Maybe let's say I want to create a funny one-liner website, which will have one-liners coming every day. So the first one is I was born intelligent, but education ruined me. This is the story of my life. Yeah. So this is the quote of the day. This is the quote of the day, and this is now getting published into my website. Are you ready, guys? You know what needs to be done, right? Yay! So do you see a beautiful looking website? I was born intelligent, but education ruined me. Okay, I know some of you are laughing. How come it's a beautiful website? Okay, let me try to beautify it a little. So I have a file with me. I have a file with me, which I created before. So let me open this. Let me open it using Notepad. This has some HTML code. So I'll copy this HTML code. I'll go back to the server. I will go back to the file once again, and I will remove this line, and I will add the below lines. Okay, and I will save the file. Now let me show you how beautiful is my website. Are you ready, guys? Azure is awesome, and it's a floating website also. Floating, the website floats. So do you think this is good looking now? No, not enough. Okay, let me try something else. So if you go to Google, if you search for HTML templates, free templates, there are many free templates available. Yeah, so this is one of the free templates. This is the download link. Let me copy the link, and I will host this as my website. So all I need to do is so you need to know some basic Linux commands, which you can learn in a day. It won't take that much of time. You can learn in few hours some basic Linux commands. So if I run ls minus l, this is the index.html file. Now I will move this file to another location, and I will download that link, the website link. I will download. So this link it's getting downloaded. This got downloaded. Now if I run the ls minus l command again, so this is the zip file. So to unzip, the command is unzip. Okay, so you can see here unzip is not installed. So we have to install unzip command using apt install unzip. So now you see unzip got installed. Now if I unzip the file, so now if I run ls minus l, so this is my directory. Do you see? This is my directory. So I can go inside this directory, and you will find there is a index.html file. See here, index.html file. So I will copy the content from this directory and I will paste it to the parent directory, which is this one, var www.html. So for that, the command is mv star, and I will put everything in the previous directory. Press enter. Okay. So once this is done, if I go back here to my website and if I refresh, you will see the magic. Do you see, guys, the magic? So this is a full-fledged website up and running inside my virtual machine. Though the language is something different. So you can think of I'm developing this website for a foreign client. Yeah, but this is a full-fledged website. Though the images are seems like missing, so it may take some time before the images are coming. Okay, so that concludes our virtual machine discussion. This is how we create virtual machine. We create Windows virtual machine, Linux virtual machine. We deployed web servers. You have seen how to access using RDP, how to access using SSH. Yeah. So this is your IS model. Now I also created a PaaS platform for all of you to just show you. See, in an IS model, we are able to log into the server. We are able to SSH, right? We are able to RDP. See, the server belongs to me, the platform belongs to me, and the application also belongs to me. But what if PaaS? See, in a PaaS model, we will not be able to log into the platform. We will not be able to log into the server, but we will be able to access and we will be able to deploy our own application. So what I have done is I have created one web server here using the PaaS model. So all you need to do is just go to this menu option and go to app services option, app service. So when you go to the app services option, so this is the PaaS platform of Azure. There are many other PaaS services, but this is what we use to create web applications, web servers, mobile applications, and all other things. Okay. So if I want to create, I will just click on create, and you can see here, you select the resource group. So again, the same resource group, our RG, right? Now, see, all you need to do is just select the app service name. Now, this name needs to be globally unique because this will give you a website. So I can say girl script, let's say girl script web page. So I'm basically, creating a web page for the girl script, though they are not paying me anything for it, and that's okay. Um, Now you see the code. So when you create the website, the web application, you need to have some code. You need to have your source code. You need to have your exe or the zip file, which will be deployed. So you have to select the runtime. So all you need to do is just select the runtime, and it will be created for you. That means the server will be created with Windows running and ASP.NET runtime installed. Okay. Then you select the location. Let's say East US. Now after this, you have to select certain options like plans and all. Now let it be free plan. Like click on review and create, and this will create the web app for us. So this is a PaaS model. See, in this case, a virtual machine will be created, but you will not be able to access that. We don't need to access it. This is for the developers who don't want to manage the server. They just want to manage their own application. So they want someone else to take care of the platform, to take care of the server, so that they can manage only the application. Yeah, this is how it is. So see, this deployment is also going on. And after this, we will discuss little about the storage part. Now, storage discussion is very small. I'll just show you how we create storage accounts, how we deal with multiple types of storage available on Azure. So give it few seconds. It's going on. Let it get deployed. Meanwhile, let me show you, I already deployed one for you beforehand, before coming to the session. So if I go to the app services option here, see app services, you will find here I deployed a WordPress website, a full-fledged WordPress website. Okay. Now in this WordPress website, there is a database also running. It's a production grade website. But I didn't do anything. I didn't create a server, though it is there underneath, under the hood, it is there. So when I created this, you just access it through this website. This is the web URL. So when you use this, give it few seconds. and you will find the website coming up. It's too slow, everywhere it's traffic. So that reminds me of something. So there was this student Rahul. He was late to the class. So teacher said, "Hey Rahul, why are you late?" So Rahul said, "Ma'am, traffic, ma'am." So ma'am said, "But this is an online session." Rahul said, "Yes, ma'am, I'm talking about online traffic, ma'am." Yeah. So that's how it is. So guys, do you see a full-fledged production grade? This is a production grade website up and running in few minutes just using the PaaS platform. You don't even need to have a server. You don't need to log into the server. I can just use the PaaS platform to deploy a full-fledged website. How cool that can be, and how cool it is. Yeah. So this is how it is done, guys. So if I want to show you one more time, the one we were deploying, it's still getting deployed, taking a little more time. So this will be the same. It will give you a web URL. You click on that web URL, you will find a website. But that website is not running WordPress or any other application. It's a blank website. It's like a skeleton. But you have to bring your own code later on. And that code can be deployed using Visual Studio, using GitHub. There are many other ways to do it. So if I go here, see, this is my Girl Skip web page. Now this is the one. If I click here, give it few seconds. As we talked about online traffic, you know, everything is happening online these days. So you can see this is the skeleton web page. Now you have to bring the code here, your own code which you have developed using ASP, Python, Java, or any other language. Not all languages are supported, but if the language is not supported, you can use Docker. So guys, friends, that concludes the VM discussion. I hope it's now crystal clear to all of you what is IaaS, what is PaaS, how to deploy a Windows VM, how to deploy a Linux VM, and how to run your own web pages, your own websites inside Windows and Linux virtual machines. So we have around 20 more minutes. We will quickly talk about little about storage on Azure. See, storage is a big discussion on any cloud, and storage is one of the pillars. When it comes to cloud computing, it is one of the pillars. Let me open the slide. So I was telling you that storage is one of the pillars of cloud computing. So when you learn about cloud computing, you need to learn about storage also. It is absolutely required. Now, when it comes to Azure storage, on Azure storage, everything starts with what you call an account. Just like if you want to use OneDrive, if you want to use Google Drive, what do we do? We create an account, right? First, we create an account. Similarly, on Azure, everything related to storage starts with an account. So first, you have to create an account. Once you create the account, you can have multiple types of storage created inside. So Azure supports mostly 4 type of storage. Number 1 is called blob storage. Blob storage. Number 2 is called file storage. Number 3 is known as table storage. Table storage. Number 4 is known as queue storage. Queue storage. Now, see, in this particular session, in this particular training, it is not possible for us to discuss all these because it's a long discussion. We don't have time, And in the interest of time, we discuss that we will talk about only blob storage. Okay, so blob is the only storage we are going to discuss. If you want to learn about other type of storage, their features, I would suggest you go through AZ104 training. Yeah, that will be very useful for you. In fact, I would strongly suggest that you take this learning to next level by going through AZ900, AZ104 trainings and certification. As we discussed yesterday, cloud is hot. Yeah, it is hot, and as they say, you should what's the saying, you should hit the iron when it is hot, right? Something like that. So that's how it is. So what exactly is blob storage? Okay, even before this, let me also tell you that when we talk about data, see, we can primarily divide data into 3 categories. What are the categories? Number 1, we have something called structured data. Structured data. Okay. Number 2, we have something called unstructured data. Unstructured data. And we have something called semi-structured data. Semi-structured data. So all data can be divided into these 3 types. Okay, these 3 types. Now, when it comes to structured data, this is what we use for storing RDBMS. RDBMS. That means your database type of data goes into this type of storage. Your SQL database, MySQL, MS SQL, PostgreSQL, Oracle, DB2, those type of data are called structured data. Now, this type of data is very less. In this world, this data consists of only 5 to 6%. A huge amount of data which belongs to unstructured data consists of almost 80% of data. So what are your unstructured data? That's your images. Images. Okay. You have videos. You have audios. You have text files. You think of anything, any data you want to store. It's your unstructured data. Semi-structured data is a new type, relatively new. It's no longer new, in fact, it's now old. This is what we call NoSQL data. NoSQL. Okay, this is what we use to store in Cassandra, MongoDB, or in Azure we have Cosmos DB. This is where we store semi-structured data. So when it comes to unstructured data, because this is huge amount of data, your social media, your Facebook data, yeah, Facebook images, videos, audios, where do you store this type of data? So if you look at real world, we store these type of data in our OneDrive. Microsoft has OneDrive. There are other drives also, right? You have Dropbox, you have Google Drive, right? We store these type of data on those places. So what about cloud? Can we store unstructured data on cloud also? Is there a service on Azure? And the answer is yes, there is a service. And that type of storage is known as blob storage. This is what is known as blob storage. Okay, blob stands for binary large object. Is used to store any kind of unstructured data. Just like what we do in OneDrive, we create an account and then we can start uploading anything. we can start uploading videos, we can start uploading images inside our OneDrive. And when you upload a file, each and every file will have a unique URL, right? You get a unique URL which you can share with your friends, your colleagues, whomever you want, with your family, and they will be able to access that particular file using the URL. The same goes with Azure Blob Storage. We create a storage account. So this is my storage account, this one, right? And then we create a blob storage, and then we can upload and download any images, files, folders, and we get unique URL for each of them. This is the core concept of blob storage. So blob storage is used for taking huge amount of backup, to store huge amount of data. You know, there is a data lake concept. We call it data lake, which is the next, you can say next, version or iteration of blob storage. I mean, it's an extension of blob storage wherein you get virtually unlimited storage. You can store unlimited amount of data. So I think this much of discussion theory is enough for the time being. Let us jump into a demo. Let us see how it works in real world. So again, it's time to go to cloud. It's already evening, but we can go to this cloud any time of the day. It doesn't matter if it is night or evening or early morning. We can just visit the cloud whenever we want. So this is the cloud. Go to the menu option. You will see storage account. Do you see account, storage account? So all you need to do is create a storage account first. Remember, everything starts with the account. We already discussed. So just create the account. Again, you have to select a name. Now this name, this name needs to be, storage account name needs to be globally unique. Because see, when we create a storage account, this is internet accessed account. That means we can access this account through internet. And in internet, everything needs to be unique, right? All the URLs needs to be unique. You need to have a unique URL and unique URL. So that's why you see it says that it is already taken. So how do you create an unique URL? You can use your PAN card number or the Aadhaar number. Yeah, I'm just kidding, guys. Please don't do that. Or else there is a simple way to do it. You can add this to magical, powerful words or alphabets called AJ. That's my name's initial, and it's called the power of AJ. And you can see this will become unique. So we all are unique, guys. You can try with your name's initials also. Yeah, we all are powerful in our own ways, right? So you create a unique name here, define, give a region name, and then there are some performance, some replication, and certain other things which will not be discussed in this course. It's not possible for us to discuss. But let me just tell you, standard is your mostly HDD disk, and premium is your SSD disk. Okay. Now, once you define this, the replication, so we can replicate the data in other region. If you select for geo redundant replication, the data will be replicated into your paired region. Paired region. So we'll go for LRS. It's not allowing me right now. Let me go ahead with ZRS, and click on review and create. It will create the storage account for us. It's as simple as that. A storage account will be created. So let it get created. Meanwhile, let me explore one existing one. I mean, one which is existing. I had already created for you. So if I go back to the portal, so if I go back to the storage account, you can see here there are multiple storage accounts I have created. Now let me use this one. So once you go inside the storage account, you will see it gives you 4 types of storage. What are they? Containers, file, queue, and tables. So container is basically your blob storage, blob. So if I select the container, see what happens within the blob storage, we create containers. You can think of them as your folders, but in actual they are not folders, but they are containers. So you can have a container for your testing, for your development team. You can create a new container. So you see here, this is my test container. Now I can create one more container for my production team. Okay, or let's say project 1, project 2, project 3. So after creating the containers, you can download files, and whatever you store inside the container is called blob. We call them objects or blob, binary large objects. Okay, so once I create the containers, if I go to the test option, test container, see here upload. So I'll click on the upload option and I'll go here. I'll select a file just the way you do in OneDrive. Okay, so right now if I want to upload something, what should I upload? Let me see what I have. Okay, I have this file, Zoom background. Okay, click on open, click on upload, and the file got uploaded. As simple as this. Now once it is uploaded, if I click here, you will find there is a URL. Do you see the URL? See? So this is what you will share with your friends. You will share with others. This is the this is the this is the link of that particular file. You see here? Yeah. So if I use it in another tab, it should get downloaded. It should get downloaded. Okay. Right now it's not working because there may be some permission issues. So see, this is in private. So if I make it blob or container anonymous, it will start getting downloaded. So this is how I can download or I can upload. So what do you think of this photo, guys? What is this photo? What is this place? This is I would say a knowledge mine. Yeah, books are knowledge, so it's a knowledge mine. You go inside this mine and you take knowledge out of it. So this is how we create a storage account. This is how we upload, we download. Yeah, there are many other things inside the storage concept. In the interest of time, we won't be able to cover them, but I'm pretty sure you got an overview of how it actually works. Now I want to conclude my session with another interesting demo, which is how you can store a website inside storage account. So we have seen how to create websites in a IaaS, in a PaaS model. However, hosting a simple static web page inside a storage account without doing much, that option is also there. So if I go to the storage account, if you scroll down, you will see there's a static website option. All you need to do is just click on enabled, give it a name. The index dot file is index.html. I'm not creating an error document. Click on save. This will be saved, and you can see this is the endpoint. Do you see this is the endpoint? So I'll click on this and not click, I'll say I'll copy this endpoint. I'll copy this, and this is the container. A spatial container got created to host the static web page. So if I go here, I'll just upload the index.html file. I'll select the index.html file, click on open, click on upload. Remember the file, guys? So this got uploaded. Now, are we ready to see the magic? Yeah. So remember that web page I have copied. I'll go to a tab. I will paste it, and you know what needs to be done. You know what needs to be done. I hope at least that is something you are learning from this course. So with prayers, let me hit the enter button. It may take some time. So guys, Azure is awesome. Do you agree with me? Yeah, Microsoft is awesome. Azure is awesome. So with that, I'm done. We can conclude this session. It's over to you, Girl Script. And you already know how to update your skills.
Like
This is
already
something
the
discussed yesterday as well. You can celebrate your accomplishment and feel empowered. Yeah, go and do it. And guys, continue to learning, keep growing. That's the only way to grow in today's modern world, by learning more and more. uh, yeah. So thanks to all of you for joining this session. I hope it was useful. I hope there are takeaways. Hmm?
This was really an informative session, sir. Like super amazing session with all the demos about virtual machines and web pages and storage. I'm pretty sure the audience must have got a very clear idea as to how to go about creating their own. So audience, do this, okay? So yeah, special mention to Hitesh sir and Amal sir for actively answering all the questions from the audience. Big support. So now I would like to call Amal sir, who will share a few words on the topic of the masterclass, that is cloud concept and the Microsoft Azure. So over to you, Amal sir.
Hello, everyone. So, guys, it has been 2 exciting days of journey, and I really hope that that you have learned a lot. My colleagues Ajay and Hitesh have provided a very valuable session over the knowledge that what is cloud and why Microsoft Azure is a key player in that. Right? If you ask me, I think that the future of cloud computing is powerful. Right? And I think everyone will agree to that. Why? Because the companies are saving thousands of dollars when they are moving on to the cloud computing, right? As per the recent study, there were around 80% of the organizations who are actually moving their servers, moving their workloads to the cloud. And that's not all. In the future time, it will continue to increase. You remember that in the earlier days, we used to have pen drives, we used to have floppy drives, right? And now the word has evolved, right? There were the concepts of hard drives, and we used to store our data, right? We used to exchange movies, we used to exchange our photos, and everything was secured in the pen drives and the hard drives. Now all of a sudden, in the recent times, everyone started storing their crucial data on the cloud, because it is very agile, it is very secure, it is very resourceful. At the same time, it is very accessible as well, right? Doesn't matter wherever you are. If you are stuck in a traffic, if you are stuck in a shopping mall, you can use your mobile app to access the cloud resources, right? You can do whatever you want. You can have your work done on the fly, and that is the benefit of cloud, right? So the future is evolving, and everyone is going towards the cloud. So basically, it's a destination right now. So we welcome you all to come and join us in that journey where we are moving towards that destination, and let's make this world a better place for all. So that's all from my side. I would just wish everyone best of luck for your careers, and if you happen to use cloud in future, who knows, our path may cross once again. Till then, keep learning and remain focused. All the best. Over to you, Tejasvi.
Thank you so much, sir, for those words. With this, we come to an end of 2 days masterclass. And as we had said that we'll be having a quiz after the session. The link to the quiz will be shared in the chat section as well as in the comments of this video. So do answer the quiz. The deadline for this quiz is 17 June. Okay. And do participate in the raffle. Take a chance. Maybe you might win a Surface Go. Who knows? So do participate in the raffle as well. The procedure has already been explained, but we'll share the details again with you all on the Telegram group as well. So yes, all the best for the raffle and all the best for the certification course. So thank you so much everyone for joining in. Thank you so much Hitesh sir, Amal sir and Ajay sir for this session. It was an amazing session with you all. This 2 days masterclass was super fun and super informative. And guys, don't forget to fill in the feedback form as well. That will count as your attendance. Okay, attendance for today. So
Hey,
yes,
thanks,
Hitesh,
Yushi and others from Girls Script for helping us for your wonderful coordination. It was great working with you guys. Yeah,
pleasure, sir. It was pleasure having you for this session.
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a nice day.
Yeah, it is, sir. Yes.